You need to get out of the crime scene, ma'am.
Do not touch me.
You can do your job from right there. Don't go through the crime scene again.
Touch me
then don't go through the crime scene again.
He didn't push you down. He
it
moved.
doesn't matter. But
Do you want to have her arrested for obstructing our crime scene? She can laugh all she wants.
Welcome to Leroy Truth Investigations. On February 4th, 2020, a man was stabbed at the Jackson Street subway platform in Chicago. A Chicago Transit Authority dispatcher assigned Supervisor Martissa Lee to be the main person in charge of the scene. Chicago police officers responded to the incident. The officers stood guard to control the crime scene as they waited for investigators and other personnel. No caution tape was deployed, and the officers who now controlled the area were tasked with preserving the scene by directing patrons to the sides of the platform.
No, they got to go on the outside. This is all a crime scene.
While attempting to control the flow through the area, CTA Supervisor Lee began walking through the crime scene, and Officer Raymond Haren directed her to stay out of the affected site.
Yeah, he's grabbing after the victim.
It's nobody.
Watch out. Whoa, ma'am, come out here.
I'm talking. I got to say.
Oh, yeah, you need to get out of the crime scene, ma'am. Please get out of the crime scene. That's what I'm telling you.
And you're touching me now.
Because you're in the crime scene, and I'm asking you to stay there. Do not go in the crime scene.
And I'm doing my job. Do not touch me.
You're not doing your job. You can do your job from right there.
Do not touch me.
I just got to pause for a moment. This is Leroy Truth. That is priceless. Cops do that all the time to us. They have no care whether we've done anything illegal or not. This CTA piece of garbage cop, she's walking through a freaking crime scene. A second grader could understand why that's important. Now, the cops, of course, are useless most of the time, but when it comes to investigating crime, that's something actually that could be helpful for them to do. And she is obstructing them. She has her ego on DEFCON 55 million, and she ain't liking this. Some guy telling her what to do. To continue.
You can do your job from right there. Don't go through the crime scene again. Then don't go through the crime scene again.
Don't touch me again.
Then don't go through the crime scene again. It's very simple. We can go back and forth all day.
Don't touch me.
It's not already. It's not a crime scene.
The two cops went their separate ways, and as more officers arrived, crime scene tape was put up to secure the area. CTA Supervisor Lee eventually approached Sergeant Spiker to complain that Officer Haran had grabbed her and moved her. How dare him?
What? What's that?
He grabbed me.
Why? Were you in the crime scene or something? Or?
This is freaking priceless. He grabbed me. How many times have the fucking cops done that to you, to me, to hundreds of thousands of people with no cause? The cop actually had cause to move her out of the scene. He didn't grab her. He actually pretty gently moved her out of the scene. Whoa, cops don't like that. Rules for thee, not for me, baby.
I'm walking, talking, and they was telling me that's the situation. He grabbed me and pushed me over.
Maybe you were in the crime scene. I'm not sure.
Right there, I'm not by the
They wouldn't
and I'm
grab
walking
you
over
just for
talking.
no reason, though.
He grabbed me and pushed me. Clearly, it could be seen to
Okay.
him right there.
Do you want me to ask him why?
I want something to be done.
Well, if he tells me that you were obstructing the crime scene, we're going to arrest you.
You're not going to arrest me.
Yes, we are.
My job. This is my job.
We're not going to. That's the way it's going to go. If you want to.
It's her job. She was obstructing the crime scene, for God's sakes. She doesn't like that. Again, ego runs supreme with these pieces of garbage.
Complain.
Because this is my
That'll
job.
be his job, though. You'll be
Exactly. And
obstructing
I'm
his
the
job,
supervisor
which
that was
is.
told to assess the thing. So if I'm walking, I'm not stepping
but
on the blood.
Now
That's
you're playing apples and oranges. This
I'm not.
is our crime
Apples and
scene.
oranges is not to be pushed.
Okay, I'm going to ask him.
You can ask him.
Are you the
whatever.
supervisor?
Yes, I am.
Is it worth it to you that serious for this?
Yes, because he pushed me. If I
Did he
push
push
you
you
when
out
I
of the crime scene?
Yes, almost took the blue tactile.
They pushed me too because I didn't know I was in the middle of
That's
it.
your guys. I don't know. Let no man allow me. I don't care.
He didn't push you down.
Now she's saying because she's a woman that wasn't okay. Well, he's a man. It was okay for them to do with her, but because she's a woman? She's a human. I don't care, man, woman, alien. She was in the crime scene. The cop had a right to attempt to create an uncontaminated crime scene. God's sakes.
It doesn't matter, but he pushed
He touched you.
Exactly.
So what's
You're
the
not
problem?
supposed to touch me. What
Yes,
do you
he
mean?
can touch you.
Can I touch you and grab you the way he grabbed me?
We can touch you to move you out
Can
of a
I
crime
touch you
scene.
and grab you the way he grabbed me?
Ma'am, we can touch you to move you out of a crime scene.
So I can touch you and move you
No,
out of the
you
crime.
can't touch me. We
is
can
my
touch
job
you.
Too. Okay, I can touch
This
you
is not
too.
your job. This is our job. Your job is to
What
conduct the
y'all job?
training.
Exactly, and I was talking to my manager to let them know.
Your job is to work with the trains. This is now our crime scene. If you're in the middle of it, we can move you out of it. Yes.
I'm not
We're
your
going to
crime
move you
scene.
out of the crime
But I'm
scene.
not your crime scene to push.
There's no complaint. If that's your complaint, there's no complaint.
10-4. Can I have your badge and stuff?
Yeah, we're going to have to. I'm going to talk to him then.
No, that's fine, but that's fine. Whatever you said, that's fine.
Which one of you guys grabbed her?
Because she was walking through the crime scene. She had to get out of the crime scene. And I took her from behind and I guided her outside the crime scene. I did not push. Everything's on camera.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So he just moved you out of the crime scene is what he's saying.
No, I didn't push.
He's grabbed you and moved you out of the crime
That's
scene.
fine, but anyway, you said you needed what from me? Sir, you needed something
They
from me?
need you to hold the tape. They want you, they say you're a supervisor, you to hold the tape. You to hold the tape for them.
What do you mean hold the tape?
The tape off that camera.
Because you have to get that from control center. I can't do it.
No, that's the
I saw the
that's another unit.
Okay.
Okay.
Was she obstructing the crime scene?
Yes. I told her, it's on my body camera. I told her she had to get out of the crime scene. She kept walking. I told her she had to get out of the crime scene.
Did she continue in our crime scene?
Walking
Yes.
away from the crime scene, he pushed
Did she
me. I guess I
continue in
wasn't
our
walking
crime
fast
scene?
enough for him.
Yes, she
No, I didn't. He pushed me right over there. It'll all be seen.
He's saying-
But you guess what?
walked
It's all
from
on
here.
camera, and I'm done with it now. If
walked
you
from
guys
here.
do it,
I mean, are we?
They don't like it when the shoe is on the other foot, do they? What are your thoughts about this? Put this in the comments.
Are we done with this? I mean, he's explaining what
no,
he
I'm not
did.
done with it. Y'all can be done with it.
You're not done with it?
Oh, I'm not. Because
Do you want to have her arrested for obstructing our crime scene?
I'm on
She can laugh all she wants, but she cannot obstruct our crime scene.
And for a second, she thinks she's above the law, of course, because he's a fucking cop.
Was she obstructing our crime scene?
She did not. That's when I told her, I said, man, we got to get out of the crime scene. She did this. I told her several times. That's when I
I'm
took
on
her
the
crime
radio.
scene.
He didn't
I
see
got
me
her, she gotta go outside
He
the crime
pushed me
scene.
from behind.
We can look at my body
We
cameras.
sure can.
Okay, arrest her. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, this is getting good now. Whoa, surprise, surprise, Gomer Pyle. Oh, she was pushing it there because her ego was all bent out of shape. And she brought up the woman card, too. Again, doesn't matter if she was a man, woman, alien, or amoeba. She was in the crime scene. He had a right to move her out of it. If she would have just shut her mouth, then she would have not been arrested. And see, the difference between you and I is she actually was in the wrong. Them arresting her because she wouldn't put it away, I don't have a problem with that because she was in the wrong. You and I, we get that treatment for doing nothing wrong but contempt of cop. There's a big difference here. And put it in the comments what you think.
If he's saying I'm walking in the crime scene, I can put my radio back on myself and you snatch.
When Lee refused to drop her complaint, she was placed under arrest. A CTA manager eventually approached the officers and pleaded for her release.
She was walking through the crime scene. I followed her. I said, you have to get out of the crime scene, ma'am. You got to get out of the crime scene. She's talking on the phone. So you got to get out of the crime scene. I took her arms like this from behind it, and I guided her outside the crime scene. She turned around and spun at me and said, don't put your hands on me. I'm doing my job. I said, you do your job out here. She said, don't you ever put your hands on me. I said, you're in the crime scene. It's all on my body camera.
Or not?
Yeah, sure is. I mean, you pushed me from behind.
Did she continue in the crime scene?
After I
No,
moved her out,
pushed me.
after I put her out, no. But she wouldn't listen to me walking through.
Look how cops negotiate this shit. This is fascinating. I'm gloating.
And she said it's straight for the blood.
Possibly not hear the direction the first time?
No, because she held up the
I
phone
was
and said, I'm on the
talking
phone
to
talking to
control.
my boss.
Exactly. You on the phone.
They were instructing her to crime to.
Okay, so maybe she didn't hear
Oh,
the
that was
directions
the
first? Is it possible?
It's a possibility that maybe she didn't hear. I mean,
Can you believe that apologist there? That looks like her supervisor. It's a possibility she didn't hear. You weren't even fucking there, lady. See, but each side, these are the yellows against the blues. Each side's attempting to protect their own, regardless of what the actual truth is. Because the cops don't like truth.
And did you hear him say to get out of the crime
No, I
scene?
did not, but he didn't. He also pushed me, and that was the whole issue.
But that's not an issue. 'cause
That
you-
is an issue.
That's not an issue. Because he could grab you and move
Okay,
you
so
out of the crime
what are
scene.
y'all about to do? Because I
What I'm saying is,
Now, it doesn't bode well for that sergeant there, and you'll find out a little later on. He ends up getting the shaft. He didn't do anything wrong.
what I thought he was saying is she was directed several times to stop walking through the crime scene, and she wouldn't not do that. And then he grabbed her to remove her from the crime scene, and then she's upset about being grabbed, but she was in the crime scene. But I thought this perhaps she keeps going in and out of the crime scene.
We were instructed to block off the crime scene, so we're getting conflicting information.
This is part of our policy. You're handcuffed.
I cannot wait.
I'm just trying to do a full investigation.
You weren't trying to do nothing. He pushed me.
I'm doing it right now. He can push you out of the crime
push me
scene.
nowhere.
Yes, he can. We have a crime scene for an aggravated battery. Yes, we can.
It ain't no calm down. I ain't even supposed to be on the clock. I'm doing y'all a thing.
See, the CTA cop is wrong, but she ain't giving up on this. And it, doesn't do well for her. She got arrested for it. She was wrong.
I know you are, and I'm gonna get you out of this.
Don't get me out of this. I didn't do nothing.
I know you didn't do anything. It's a misunderstanding.
It's
please.
not. He pushed me.
Tisa, please, I'm asking.
It's not a misunderstanding. That CTA cop Lee, she willfully just got her ego rocking and rolling there, and that's what she's making us think for here.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you. This is wrong.
Okay. Listen, we'll take it up with their sergeant, their lieutenant, whoever we need to. But
I've told her several times she couldn't go on a crime scene. She held up her phone and said, I'm talking to my boss. I moved her out of the crime scene, and then she spun on me and got very aggressive, telling me, don't you ever put your hands on me. Said that several times. And I said, you need to stay on the crime scene. She kept saying it back and forth, back and forth.
And I tried to explain even I was entering it without knowledge, and he grabbed me to move me out of it. Because I didn't realize how big it was. But she's not trying to hear that. She feels like we can't move her out of the crime scene. But we had to.
You
because
can
she
move
wouldn't
me. You can't push
listen
me.
to direction. Yes, he can. Okay. What part of that don't you understand? You or anyone can be moved out of a crime scene.
Okay, whatever.
Once I'm here, I can move POs out of the crime scene.
Move them out. Do what
That's
you gotta
our rules.
do what you gotta do.
Does that make sense?
I completely understand. So it's a misunderstanding.
It's really not. But
she was being following instructions from the control.
It was
really
over
not a
for me.
misunderstanding, she said.
yeah, when you do is done pushing me,
See, just never.
Vanessa.
So we can take care of this another way. Come on, you're gonna be on national TV.
I don't care.
You're gonna jeopardize your job.
Ooh, the first truth that was said so far. You're going to be on national TV. That's going to come true for her.
Your job,
I
Marquis.
jeopardized for what? I didn't do nothing.
I mean, she was on the phone with our control center, and they were giving her instructions to block off the crime scene. I mean,
I didn't do nothing.
what is it that you want?
Sounds like that it was a misunderstanding. It's possible.
We can go with that.
That she didn't hear, and that's why you had to move her out of it, right? So
Now look at this. They're all ganging up on the cop who was the one who was trying to control the crime scene. Now they're all ganging on him. The CTA supervisor of Lee and his sergeant. What a trip.
she wasn't being disobedient.
Except that she held the phone and said, no, I'm doing my job. But
So
if you want me to get your handcuffs off, I
Maybe
will.
she didn't hear the first part of it.
Okay.
She didn't enter in after you moved her out of it.
See how the cops say, this is what really happened. She didn't really hear what you said. Yes, she was defensive about it and got nasty and rude about it. What a joke this is.
Right?
Oh, then she became more argumentative.
But you pushed me.
Again, everything's on my body camera, so.
All right, let's. It sounds like a misunderstanding.
Now look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't be freaking unhandcuffed. You wouldn't be unhandcuffed. And she was in the wrong. Battle of the egos, the yellows against the blues, and the yellows won.
The media's on their way down. So you want to get...
You don't need to apologize.
Lee was released after about 10 minutes. And after reviewing the video evidence of the encounter, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability recommended the Chicago Police Department suspend Sergeant Spiker pending its investigation, stating strong evidence suggests that Sergeant Spiker's handling of Lee's complaint may have been in violation of department policy regarding the treatment of received complaints of misconduct. The same evidence also suggests that Sergeant Spiker threatened Lee with arrest if she insisted on advancing her complaint, and that Sergeant Spiker ultimately carried through with the threat of arrest. Lee filed a lawsuit against City of Chicago and both officers for excessive force, violation of her First Amendment rights, unlawful detention, false arrest, illegal seizure, battery, false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and indemnification. However, ladies and gentlemen, the lawsuit was dismissed in June of 2021 after the matter was settled out of court. Ooh, money exchanged hands. Lee won. My guess there, I'm not saying for a fact. It is possible that had Officer Horan arrested Lee the first time she refused to leave the scene for obstruction, that the charge would have seemed more valid. Crime scene tape is not a magical shield, and if there is a valid reason to cordon on or off an area to preserve evidence or even stop the flow of traffic. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this? And again, she didn't like having someone handle her and manage her, when the original cop, in my opinion, was in the right. You got a crime scene, you want to find out what's going on, make sure that the evidence is uncontaminated. Don't let anyone in there other than the people specifically working on that investigation. Rules for thee, but not for me. And again, what are your thoughts here? And I look forward to reading all of them. And also, if you'd like to email me any stories you have, email me at LeroyTruth247@gmail.com. That's LeroyTruth247@gmail.com. Remember, always record the police. Recording the police, assuring transparency, and helping with accountability shall keep us free. This is Leroy Truth, out.